Hello everyone, welcome to the US Immigration Hub. If you've been following US immigration policy for a while, you know how quickly things can change. 1 month brings small improvements, and the next brings a new restriction that sends everyone back into uncertainty. And now, as we move through November and December 2025, reports confirm that the Trump administration is preparing a new visa ban, one that could affect visa renewals, re-entries, and possibly even some green card holders. In this video, we'll explain what's behind this proposed visa ban, why green card holders and immigrants are once again feeling anxious, how it connects to the broader strategy of the Trump administration, and what you can do now to stay protected.
If you are liking this video, please hit the bell button, subscribe, and like it, so that you may get updates straight to your smartphone. Now, let's get into the video.
Let's start with what's happening right now. In early November, senior White House officials confirmed that Donald Trump's immigration team is reviewing executive authority to issue a new visa suspension order before the end of the year. While details are still developing, insiders suggest the plan would focus on certain categories of non-immigrant visas and may also tighten travel permissions for some lawful permanent residents returning from abroad. It's not the first time such an order has been discussed. Back in 2020, similar bans restricted entry for work visa holders and slowed down family immigration. But this new proposal, according to multiple sources, would go further, introducing country-specific restrictions and new security-based screening for both visa renewals and re-entries. So far, the Department of Homeland Security and USCIS have not released an official policy memorandum. However, agencies have begun internal preparations, including review of which visa categories might be covered and how consular officers abroad should implement the rule if it's approved. For many immigrants and green card holders, this news is, well, deeply unsettling. Green card status has always been seen as stable, kind of like the step before citizenship. But under current discussions, the concern is that lawful permanent residents who stay abroad too long, or travel frequently to restricted regions might face secondary checks, additional questioning, or in rare cases, difficulty re-entering. Now, it's important to be clear, nothing official has been published yet, but the pattern of announcements this year tells us this proposal is part of a broader strategy. Since returning to office, President Trump has pushed for policies that limit both legal and illegal immigration under what he calls protecting American labor. We've already seen that play out through new H-1B fee hikes, stricter citizenship vetting, and enhanced public charge enforcement. This new visa ban would simply extend that philosophy. Analysts describe it as a three-part plan: tighten short-term visa access, slow permanent residency growth, and increase case scrutiny across every stage from the first petition to naturalization. In other words, the administration wants fewer new arrivals and longer review times for those already here. So, if you're a green card holder, the most direct risk isn't, losing your status overnight. It's really about losing predictability. With a new ban, your international travel could become a lot more complicated. You might be asked to show stronger ties to the United States, updated proof of residence, or even new medical or security forms before being allowed to re-enter. And if you're still in the immigrant visa process, waiting abroad under NVC or consular review, you could face delayed interviews, or even temporary holds if your country of birth falls under the restricted list. For employers who are sponsoring foreign workers, this could mean fewer visa approvals and, honestly, higher compliance costs. The emotional toll is significant too. Over the past few weeks, community advocates have reported rising concern among families who are planning trips abroad during the holidays. Right now, many are wondering whether to just cancel travel altogether until there's more clarity. Now, what does this mean for your next steps? If you hold a green card, it's best to minimize unnecessary travel until the official rule is published and its scope is clear. Always travel with your key documents, like your valid passport, green card, and proof of residence, such as tax records or a lease. This demonstrates continuous U.S. ties if you're questioned at the port of entry. If you're waiting for an immigrant visa interview abroad, make sure to stay in contact with your local U.S. embassy or consulate and keep checking for official updates. Don't rely on social media rumors. Consular posts will post any suspension notices immediately if a new rule takes effect. And if you're working in the US on a non-immigrant visa like H-1B-L1 or F-1, it's really a good idea to avoid international travel if you can, at least until you know whether your visa category will be affected. At this point, legal experts say there are two possible directions, either a limited ban affecting a few specific countries, similar to the earlier travel restrictions, or a broader rule that touches all non-immigrant categories until new labor reviews are completed. Either way, the result would be delays, uncertainty, and heightened screening for anyone applying for a visa or re-entering the country. There's also an ongoing debate inside Congress about whether the president can legally impose such bans without new legislation. In 2018 and again in 2020, similar orders were challenged in federal court, leading to months of back-and-forth decisions. So even if this new proposal becomes official, lawsuits are likely to follow, which could limit or delay enforcement. Meanwhile, USCIS officers have already been directed to step up identity verification and background checks for all pending immigration benefits. That means even those applying for adjustment of status inside the U.S. may experience slightly slower updates as the agency aligns its systems with the proposed executive order. For immigrants who've lived through previous restrictions, this moment feels familiar and frustrating. Each new policy discussion stirs uncertainty, resets travel plans, and makes even long-term residents feel unsettled. But unlike the sudden bans of years past, this one is being telegraphed ahead of time, which means there's an opportunity to prepare. So, what's the takeaway? Don't panic, but don't ignore it either. Review your travel plans, keep your case records organized, and stay connected to credible updates from USCIS, the Department of State, and trusted immigration attorneys. Policy can change quickly, but good preparation helps you stay steady through it. That's all we have for this bulletin. The U.S. Immigration News Channel provides all necessary visa information and procedures for your U.S. immigration journey. It is important to understand the United States immigration processing steps, visa application requirements, processing times, forms, fees, and more. We will continue to provide all information about U.S. visitor visas such as B-1 and B-2 work visas such as L-1A, L-1B, and H-1B student visas, green cards, immigrant visas, EB-1, EB-2, EB-3, EB-4, and EB-5 family immigrant visas. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the U.S. Immigration Hub channel. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.